comment comes from Dom Predator 77, and this comment was on the Tales of Valhalla episode 7 season 3, so the last episode that I've released currently, and left a really nice comment, some advices, and you know, look at this channel, and I'll try to, if I remember, I mean, it's Dom Predator 77. You just type that in YouTube and you'll find his channel, or there'll be a link in the description below for this, you know, tiny video that I'm making of this review and his comment. And, you know, says a lot of great things. Says, I'm loving this series so far. Thank you very much, Dom Predator. Or I'm just going to call you Dom, okay? If you don't mind that. I have mad respect for this stop motion because I know what it's like to do stop motion. And I've seen a little bit of his channel, and he does have some stop motion stuff there. And he says, I have my own Predator stop motion series on my channel. And Dom Predator, I've seen a little bit. Not all of it, but I've seen a little bit of it. So I've seen what you do. Very nice, very nice. And he says, and Dom says, I was wondering how you do stop motion with a normal camera. And so, and he says, I've been using other people's phones for mine, and I'm getting tired of that. I refuse to get a smartphone, flip phone for life. Anyway, I have a really nice camera, a Sony ZV-1, and I was wondering how you do that. Well, let's just talk about it for a second, okay? Because I know one of these days, after Season 3 is done, I plan to make hopefully a little bit more detailed how-to video. I've already recorded some like B-roll footage for how-to, and then it's just a matter of writing a script and then, you know, putting it down, editing it. It's just going to take some editing work and time. So I don't know how soon it'll be released, but pretty soon I'll make a how-to video on how I do it, and hopefully it'll just be a guideline for other people to follow. But just to give you a quick summary, Dom, and it's funny you say a Sony ZV-1. Well, let's see here. I got a Sony CyberShot right here. I think it's a little bit. I think yours is a little bit better than mine. But and actually, and this isn't what I have used to animate the past several years. This was actually going to be a vlogging camera, and I've used it a little bit, but not as much as I probably should. No, the camera that I have used the past several years is a Canon T3i, so very old DSLR. And DSLRs are, I mean, well, if you get an older version of DSLR, especially like a Canon one, they're pretty cheap. And at the time, I was looking for something that I could just break if I needed to. I didn't want anything too expensive, so I could just, because this started for me as being something to actually learn how to do stop motion. I had no idea how to do stop motion before I started Season 1. And so it's all been a learning experience for me. And Dom, and I'll try and leave this in the description below, I do have a video or two of how I made Season 1, and you see a little bit of me animating Season 1 in some of my behind the scenes videos. I'll try to show a link to the playlist below, although it is very outdated because I do things a little bit different now. But a lot of Season 1 was what was testing, failing, and figuring out what works and what works better. But I've used primarily throughout like these 3 seasons the same Canon T3i body lenses, and just a variation of like sliders. What am I thinking of? Camera stands. Why am I not thinking that correctly? But camera stands and you know, can lights with regular light bulbs. And so how do I do that? Well, when it comes to a Canon T3i, I just basically made the settings to where it was as flat as possible, so that way when you put everything together in post, you can color balance it into the way that you want to. Lighting is very important. Actually, it doesn't really matter what camera you use, as long as you're able to control your lighting well. Lighting is very important, and to keep things consistent, and to anchor whatever camera you have, to anchor it down so it doesn't move when you're animating. So that's one of the things that I had to that I learned pretty quickly to do, and that I tried to master as much as possible. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to summarize, but like I said, this takes some time to think about and talk about. And so with the Canon T3i, I actually talked to a professional photographer a long time ago, and she subbed to the Tales of Halo channel, but I haven't heard a comment from her. But I explained the process of turning this Canon T3i to a stop motion camera, and I showed her some images of what I have done with it. And I think at the time it was like some of season 2, and she looked at me and she's like, "You pulled that type of image from a Canon T3i?" Apparently that's a hard thing to do. I mean, all I did was look up some YouTube videos and set some of the settings to the T3i to make things as film quality as possible, or as flat as possible. White balance is important too. Get the camera on a flat setting, and then make sure you white balance before you start, and then control the lighting. Make sure your camera is anchored down so it's not moving when you're animating. And yeah, I mean, those are some of just the basic things to get started now. And so you say, and like I said, I could probably talk for a long time in this, but let me just move on your comment. You say the editing software you use is Premiere Pro. Not bad. So yeah, I was just wondering about that. Okay, and so you're probably talking about the editing process too. Well, if you watch in this video, you can see right here, I use a software primarily called HitFilm Pro. And so with the Canon T3i, I take all the photos on the Canon T3i, and for seasons 1, 2, and 3, throughout the whole process, I've taken about a quarter of a million, more than a quarter of a million photos for these altogether for these 3 seasons. That's a lot of photos. But when it comes to HitFilm, and I used HitFilm Pro, you purchase, and you can just look up www.hitfilm.com and it should come up. But they have a purchasable software, HitFilm, but they also have something called HitFilm Express, which you can download for free. And they have tons of tutorials on how to use their software. And yeah, just very interactive. Sometimes if I need to contact their customer service about an issue I have with their software, they usually respond very well. Wonderful group of people that work with HitFilm. So I do the video, I edit the video and the effects mainly through HitFilm, and it's easy, very easy to import. I mean, I can't show that right now, but it's pretty easy to import all my photos into a video file into HitFilm Pro. They make that pretty easy, and then just to convert it into a video file, it's a simple process. And with my sound, that's one thing I do, because one thing HitFilm does not do well, and I'm sorry, I got something wrong with my eye. One thing HitFilm does not do really well at the moment is audio editing. I mean, they have some, but with all the levels of audio that I need to edit, I need something a little bit better. So I use a version of Sony Vegas, and then I just basically sync the audio to the video here. And so these video edits go back and forth, the video and sound edits go back and forth a few times before everything is complete. So it is a process, which I'm not going to explain in full tonight, but just it is a process on what I use. Just based off what you're asking me. But I think Premiere Pro is excellent. It's just whatever works good for you. and just keep on improving, keep on trying to make things better, every time that you work on something. And I mean, that's all we can ask of you. And then you say, Dom, keep up the great work. I plan to, although when season 3 is done, I am going to take a bit of a break because I've been doing this virtually nonstop for several years. I look young, but I just turned 40. I have a 4-year-old son. I need some rest. So, yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be idle. There will be things I will be doing on the TOV channel, but just not as often as I've done the past several years. And it says, my hopes for the, you say, Dom, for the hopes of the rest of the season are for some people to die. That may sound weird, but a story with no deaths is a bit disappointing. Plus, it makes for some good character arcs like Hudson from Aliens. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers for what's going to happen at the end of season 3, so I'm not going to say what's going to happen. But I will say that, Dom, I agree with you on this. When it comes to Aliens, Aliens is one of my favorite movies. I absolutely love Aliens. It's the character story arcs within that movie is just incredible. And Hudson, yeah. Yeah, Hudson got a good arc. I mean, and even like a Sigourney Weaver, Ripley, a lot of characters in there. It's a great film. Unfortunately, when it comes to writing the script for seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Tales of Valhalla, I didn't take much from Aliens from it. I had got inspiration from like Lord of the Rings, Monty Python, The Holy Grail, Star Wars, other bits of pop culture movies and film out there. I didn't really pull much from Aliens, even though, like I said, I love Aliens. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So this is what I will say. I hope, Dom Predator, that you stick around for the rest of your life, really, for this channel, because season 3 might be the end of everything I do with Tales of Valhalla, but I don't want it to be. I want to have future seasons and future seasonal story arcs. And for the next seasonal story arcs, guaranteed there are going to be character deaths. And one of the things that I'm doing for seasons 1, 2, and 3 is establishing the characters and personalities of these characters. And give them, good reasons to live, or to, building on whatever mythos I want to build for some of them, especially like the Airborne Elite. So, but, so this is like, these first 3 seasons is kind of like my version of like the first Star Wars, like A New Hope, a film, to where it's, it's very, got some positive energy. It's very hopeful, but very fun, and there's still some weight of things happening. So I hope that's a satisfactory answer to you, Dom Predator. I understand what you're saying when it comes to no deaths, but hopefully what you see at the end of season 3 will satisfy you enough to stick around and wait until like 2 to 3 years later until I season 4 and 5 and 6 start coming out, hopefully. So yeah, I hope that addresses everything that you wanted to know, and feel free to leave me another comment and we can continue having a conversation. Don't mind it in the slightest. And yeah, keep on working on your stuff, man. Keep on working on your stuff, and look forward to see. I'll try to watch more of what you got in the future, and look forward to see what else you're able to do as well on your channel. So thank you so much, and yeah, talk to you later. Okay. All right. So that has been this segment of responding to a YouTube comment. I haven't done that in a while. Figured I might as well.